Hello, everybody. It's been a long, long time, hasn't it? I thought, seeing as how it's New Year, might as well open up a bottle of bubbly. Seeing as how I'm the only person that drinks in the house. So here we go. Look, I haven't opened one of these for a long time. It's been a long time coming. Oh, there you go. Took it down there. I'll use this whole glass. Well, you know what? Um, Happy New Year and all that. Now I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that there he is, drinking alcohol again, and you'd be wrong. You'd be very wrong because this is alcohol-free, fizzy type wine stuff, and this is alcohol-free, and so's this. Lindemans actually do really good alcohol-free wine. It actually tastes almost the same as real wine, and I do love the taste of wine. That is that's the only reason I'm drinking it. It's been a long time since I've done a video like this, and I've written down some notes. I used to pin them up on the wall behind the camera, but I, I've not got my glasses on and I can't see that far. Right, I am actually now 238 days sober, which I think is a pretty remarkable feat for somebody who used to drink the quantity of alcohol that I did. And don't get me wrong, I used to drink a hell of a lot of alcohol. Um, I enjoyed drinking alcohol. I enjoyed being out with my mates drinking alcohol. I enjoyed sitting in a pub and um, writing my latest masterpiece while I was drinking alcohol. I mean, I even like sitting in a pub and reading a book and kind of listening to what was going on around me. Um, Alcohol was a big, massive part of my life, but it's not anymore. Let me go back many years. I started drinking, going to pubs when I was 15, and I think back then a lot of kids did. They went to the pub before they were old enough to drink, and the pubs kind of allowed it. And so from the age of 15 up until about the age of 18, when I got serious with the woman who would become my first wife, I I used to go out with my mates 3 or 4 nights a week, drink beer, go home. And then I stopped from probably about the age of 18, right up until I was probably about 33. And I'm not going to bore you with why I started drinking again. That is actually pretty much inconsequential. It doesn't really mean anything. I think it was just meeting a whole new bunch of different people at work, being tempted, and I'm absolutely convinced that I'm not going to be getting tempted this time around. So 238 days. It's not a massive amount. I mean, so I was like 15 years sober last time. So that's like, what would that be? That would be about. I'm trying to do the maths. Be about 10,000 days sober. So that's a long, long time. I thought I'd actually talk about my mental health at the moment. Um, Now, I would say that the triggers for me when it comes to the borderline personality disorder, they've been kind of massively reduced since I stopped drinking alcohol, because alcohol was like. But the thing is, people who are bipolar, people who have got BPD, when they tend to do something, they do it to the extreme. So that's why drinking to the extreme, spending lots of money drinking alcohol. Um, so what were my triggers back then before I stopped drinking alcohol? Well, I've got a little list down here. Um, Someone hurting someone that I care about. Back then, I would literally go from 0 to 100 just like that. And I, on a couple of occasions, I did get involved in fisticuffs with people. That is something that still pisses me off. But I'm more I'm more able to be more diplomatic and actually use words to make that person feel stupid rather than punch them in the face. Road rage. Road rage. That is the worst one to do, road rage, because you genuinely don't know what the other person's going to be like. You're marching up to a car, and the guy gets out and he's 6'6". That put me in a real bad situation. So I've kind of I don't do the road rage anymore. I got the video camera, dash cam, and basically I'm a lot calmer when it comes to road rage. There's a video. It's not on this channel. It's on a different channel where I was driving back from the pub. Sort of maybe at the start of the year, February, March. Before I stopped drinking, I was driving back from the Conservative Club, and I'd had a couple of beers, and then a couple of Diet Cokes. And this guy pulled out in front of me, so I pipped. And then he got angry because somebody pipped at him and he stopped the car. And I told him that he couldn't fucking see because he pulled out in front of me. And he kind of got aggressive, but from a distance. So I basically told him to fuck off. I called him a few names, and he went back in his car and pulled out a hammer. And then he seemed to have second thoughts about it. And it just kind of made me laugh. But yeah, road rage doesn't generally bother me now. Not to the same degree. I mean, the things that would trigger me are it's a more narrowly defined set of trigger points. So road rage doesn't bother me anymore. I mean, Christ, I've actually a few years ago I followed somebody home and like smacked them on their doorstep. I can remember this is going back. God, I had my XR2, so I must have been about 19, and she was my girlfriend at the time. She ended up being my wife. She was at Cashport Machine in Stamford, the local town, and she was basically there to change a PIN number to one that she could recognise a bit more easily, and also she took my card up as well to draw some money out for me. No point in us both standing in the queue. That makes me sound like I expected a woman to do it, but I was driving. And plus parking on double yellow lines, the drivers always stay in the car. And then she'd been there obviously a minute or two, faffing about, and then I saw the guy behind us seemed to get quite aggressive, and I couldn't hear what was being said, but you can just tell that something was kind of going down. And she came back to the car and she looked a bit red and flustered, asked what had gone on. And this guy had apparently called her an idiot and said she was wasting his fucking time and everything. So I got straight out of the car, went over there and dropped him. I've never got back in my car so quick. Yeah, so that's not really road rage, but it's a similar kind of thing. Right. Having my opinion questioned. Yeah, that particularly occurred on social media and things like that. Now, if I'm having a discussion with a friend, face to face, and we're talking about politics, something I feel passionate about, I could argue my point quite coherently without losing my rag, and at the end of probably a heated debate, we'd still be mates because it didn't really bother me, because I think people become keyboard warriors and they tap away at the keyboards thinking that they're big and tough and everything. But yeah, having my opinion questioned, being insulted by someone, that would trigger me as well, and that's a bit daft. I mean, do I really care what somebody calls me? You know, people can call me anything from an idiot to a c word. Can I say the c word? Yes, I can. Can't. And it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me at all because hmm, now I'm talking about back then. It used to. So yeah, that used to be a trigger point. I just thought you haven't got the right to say that to me, to call me that, to insult me in that way. It's kind of also insulting the way I work. And I can remember one time I almost punched one of my bosses because he called me lazy. I told him to shove his job up his fucking ass. That was okay because that was on a Friday and I actually had already applied for a job somewhere else and been given the job, and I was due to start the new place on Monday. So that one was okay. Being told no, that I don't know really why I put that one down. I think like as a kid, you know, even before I became a teenager, you know, even I was suffering from. I mean, that's naughty kid syndrome, really, isn't it? But yeah, being told no would kick me off. Spoiled bastard. That's what it. That's what everybody tells me. And I've got the sixth trigger point, which is kind of a catch-all for everything. And the sixth trigger point is being intoxicated, because whenever I used to be intoxicated, um, anything could kick off, and anything could kick me off. You know, it'd be like, wow, you know. The problem is when I'm seriously intoxicated, I might be able to stand getting punched in the face without it actually knocking me out, but I can't fight. I really can't fight. I could barely fight anyway. But there you go. Right. Okay. So those were back when I was drinking. Trigger points now. Bullying. Bullying used to be a trigger point. When I was drinking, bullying's always been it's been a trigger point for me pretty much since I left school. It's something probably even at school it did trigger me. Injustice, I don't really like injustice. I don't like it if somebody if somebody's being an arsehole towards somebody else. I think that's out of order. You should learn to be diplomatic. And I've got intransigence down, and that's where I I've offered a some kind of mediation, or I've offered to compromise on something, and the other person doesn't want to compromise, and they're just stuck in their ways, and that kind of triggers me a little bit. But although these three things are like trigger points, what I generally do now is just just kind of give a half smile, turn around and walk away. It's not really worth it. The bullying thing does really irk me, and that's irked me since school, and I'll tell you why in a minute. I can remember a manager in the civil service. She tried bullying me, and me being more diplomatic, although I was triggered, I went stomping into the group leader's office and told him if he didn't move me to a different fucking team, I was liable to lose my rag. I don't like people bullying, whether they're bullying somebody at school, bullying somebody in at work, or bullying one of their friends. You just don't do that. I think it's fucking disgraceful behaviour. Um, there's been a few triggers in my life recently. There's nothing really that I want to kind of discuss here, not in any detail. But I kind of I'm kind of able to rein it in. Inside, I'm probably fuming, but it doesn't get any doesn't become loud or anything like that. Um, if I will say if I'm caught on the hop where I'm not expecting somebody to uh, come and approach me in a certain way or be uh, antagonistic towards me, if I'm not expecting it, then I'm liable to still explode and tell them to go fuck themselves. Um, I wanted to talk about when I was a kid. When I was at primary school. I was aged 11, and I got into a fight at a football match. And this kid was a bit bigger than me, and he got the better of me. And I was lying down on my back, and he was like punching me in the face and the head. And then I managed to, in some kind of lull, managed to push him off me. And then I was sitting on top of him. I don't mean in a sexual way, and I was punching him in the face. I was raining down punches. I was that raged that I had tears in my eyes and everything. And I think even at the age of 11, I think I would have carried on punching until he was dead. But fortunately, a couple of the older gadgets that were there kind of pulled us both apart, and that was that. Um, I also arranged this fight with the only black kid at the school. I can't remember what we fell out about. We used to be mates. And arranged for this fight to occur after school. I was all like, yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I got there. It was in the spinney behind the school. It's not there anymore, the spinney. In fact, it's been built into old people's flats. My mum used to live in one of those. That's by the by. Yeah, so I went to the spinney after school, and he brought somebody else with him. That's quite fortunate because I'd brought somebody else with me as well. And that fight was quite brutal as well. He tried to gouge my eyes out. Thankfully, I've still got my eyes, so he didn't succeed. But at public school, I was bullied quite badly from the age of 11, right through till I left public school after 3 years. And it was a lot of it was to do with being picked on because of my accent, being picked on because I was a bit different. And it was the middle class kids, the snobby little bastards that excuse me, that were picking on me. And I must have been about 13. Actually, it might have been in the last year I was there. So I was probably about 14. I went to the toilet, and as I was coming out, there were these, people that had bullied me before standing outside. There was about 3 or 4 of them, and they pushed me back in the toilet, and flushed my head down the toilet, down one of the shitters, and that was kind of a really degrading thing to have happen to me. And I mean, I was fuming, but there were like I say, 4 of them. But one of them was actually smaller than me, and I knew where he lived, and so the rage inside me had like kind of it grew over about 2 or 3 days, and it got me to the point where I was fucking livid, absolutely livid, and rather than afraid. And so I waited for this short kid on his route home, the route I thought he would take. There was Stanford's like full of back alleyways and back passages and everything. Oh, back passages, and I basically launched myself at him and like kicked the shit out of him, and it was very, very made me feel very good. Right up until the next day when his big brother kicked the fuck out of me. So I mean, I'm laughing now. I shouldn't really laugh. Right, okay. 238 days sober. That's the most significant thing for me, the fact that I'm actually sober, and I'm not missing alcohol at all. It really doesn't tempt me. This is just because I like the taste of wine, and I like the taste of lager as well. So If it wasn't so expensive, and if we could go into pubs, I'd probably have an alcohol-free lager. I'll make sure that it is free and not low alcohol. These all are zero, although that's a bit funky, really. Mm. Is it, I suppose it's like fizzy Chardonnay. Right. Okay. Let me run through some of the things that I miss at the moment, and probably over the last few months as well. I've been missing these things. I've not been missing alcohol, as I said. Although I have missed pubs, coffee shops, and libraries, and the main reason is because I like writing in that environment where there are people around, where I can pause and listen to somebody's conversation, and it'll either be an inspiration or you know it'll be a distraction, something I find funny. I mean, you would not believe that in the village pub, which is closed now, closed for good, I think. Um, I got barred from that before I stopped drinking alcohol. Um, they they basically barred the biggest two drinkers, me and this guy called Kevin. And I would say their profits must have gone downhill probably by about 500 quid a week. um, yeah, I miss writing in those places. The the local village pub is where I two transsexuals walked into the pub. They all I was going to say suited and booted, but all skirted and high heeled, and they sat on these high stools near the bar, and I was like fascinated listening to the conversation. But I was writing a book called Besotted at that particular time, and I actually wrote them into the book. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Inspiration comes from the strangest locations. Um, so so yeah, I miss pubs, coffee shops, and libraries. They're like a an inspiring environment to write in. Um, I I do like just kind of people watching sometimes, kind of surreptitiously. That probably makes me look like a pervert or something. Um, but I like listening to people's conversations as well. I think, like I say, you can get inspiration from the strangest of places. Uh, things I miss. I miss my friends. Since I mean, I stopped drinking kind of as the lockdown came down. This lockdown's been around for like ages, and so I've not really, with the exception of one mate Gary, I've not seen any of my friends since then. And in a way, it's like I'm going to lose that friendship in a way because um, I can't exactly go out for a drink with them. I can go out and meet them, and I've done that before. I used to go sober for October, and I used to meet up with my friends and then just have like Diet Coke or something. So I can catch up, but I can't. I, I will probably miss the camaraderie and everything. But but yeah, that's not even tempting me to drink. And the last thing I've got on here that I miss is my mum. Uh, it's coming up for a year since my mum passed away. She passed away on the well, she died. She always said she didn't like that euphemism, passed away. She preferred it to be called death, you know. So yeah, she died on the 30th of January, which was 4 days after my birthday, and yeah, that's it's it still kind of hits me, you know, that she's not there, and that I'm never going to see her again, never going to speak to her again, and yeah, I mean, it does make me feel low. Um, Quite frequently, it's kind of that thing where I don't tell anybody else when I'm feeling like that. I like to just take myself off somewhere and avoid people, even the important people in my life. Right, things I don't give a shit about. Well, I don't give a shit that the family of my nearest and dearest hate me. I really seriously couldn't give a fuck. I think I think for me the fact that they they drink alcohol themselves, and yet they um and and one or two of them get shit faced and cause spots of bother and everything, and I think that's just fucking hypocritical. And I don't value the opinions of people that I don't like. I really really don't. I've been disliked and hated um, by better people than them, and by more scary people than them. Certainly more scary. Yeah. There's one on a side note. There's one time when I was working as a prison officer, and this con came out of his door when I was opening it up, and he kind of pushed past me. I think he called me a fucking cunt or something. It was something because he wasn't getting let out at lunchtime to to phone his wife. And I stopped what I was doing. I stopped unlocking the rest of the spur that I was working on, and just went marching after him. And fucking, I mean, it almost came to fisticuffs. I think it really would have kicked off. And it was a good job that there wasn't a senior officer on the wing. Otherwise, I would have been in real trouble. A couple of the other officers kind of pulled us apart. But yeah, he was a murderer. I think he stabbed somebody to death because they insulted his sister, something like that. You know, people have insulted my sister. I mean, I've stood up for her, but I've never actually stabbed somebody to death. What else? Things I don't give a shit about. Alcohol. Um, I really don't give a shit about it. And this is not a substitute for alcohol because although I like the taste, it doesn't give you the same kick that alcohol does. But alcohol is just not important to me anymore. I just don't feel the need for it, so I'm definitely not missing it. And I've also put things I don't give a shit about: the price of petrol. Well, that's not true because it pisses me off that petrol is so fucking expensive in this country. As in America, it's like dirt cheap. Um, no, that's things I don't give a shit about. Right, things that piss me off, and this first one's kind of linked to the first thing that I don't give a shit about. Excuse me, and that's the family of my nearest and dearest disowning her because she made a decision that they didn't agree with, and you know, I think we can't expect everybody on the planet, even those people that are related to us, even those people we care about, to to do exactly what we want them to do. That's kind of that's an abusive relationship if you're expecting somebody to do something that you want them to do rather than allowing them to forge their own path in life, make their own mistakes, and and if it's somebody you really supposedly love and care about, um, even though they make the wrong decisions, your role is not to berate them for that wrong decision. It's not to say I told you so if that decision they made turns out being really shit. Your role as somebody who cares about them is to actually be there for them if it does go to shit. Um, and and all I can say is that people that are and there are lots of families that fall out. I know, and basically, I think in a case such as this that she's going through, it's pretty damn obvious that those people are kind of they're Words kind of fail me. I I just can't believe that anybody could be like that towards their daughter, towards their niece, towards their sister, their mother, their granddaughter. I can't believe that anybody would behave in that way. I think it's fucking shambolic and absolutely fucking disgraceful. And this isn't me being a keyboard warrior. For starters, I'm not on a keyboard, and secondly, I'd fucking tell them to their faces. Um, yeah, boy, would I. Um, Trigger. That is a trigger for me. It's a trigger because I don't like seeing somebody that I care about being hurt. It really, really fucking makes me angry. Um, but second one, let's move on to different things. Rude people. Rude people still piss me off. Um, People that don't know how to behave around other people, and I, I mean in a diplomatic way. If you're gonna if you've got a problem with somebody, then what you should be doing is approaching that person. If you feel that you've got to approach that person, if you've got a problem with somebody, it's your problem, not theirs. Um, so yeah, if you've got a problem with somebody, you need to be diplomatic. You need to approach them in private and kind of talk about your grievances, not fucking berate them in front of loads of people in public. I think that's fucking horrible. Right, okay, things that piss me off. God, I didn't realise I was going to be going for half an hour. I've got to get myself to bed, haven't I? Things that piss me off. Number three, printers. But they've pissed me off ever since I started working with computers because sometimes they just don't fucking work, and they're the worst things in the world. I can't be the only person that's wanted to actually take out my anger on a printer. Right, okay. Coming up to the end of this, I, I'm still going to say that I feel fucking awesome actually being sober for 238 days. So the things that I'm doing to relax during this lockdown period. I mean, last time I broke all of the rules. This is right at the start of the year. Broke all the rules and did kind of a small tour of Britain, taking photographs of different cathedrals. And you know what? I needed that because people with mental health problems, they can't really. You can't expect them to just sit at home stewing in their own juices. It's bad for their mental health. It really is, and only a complete prick would actually deny that fact. So if you're a politician and you think that even people with mental health issues should be staying at home, then you're a prick. And if you're just a normal person and you think that, well, then you're just as big a prick. Right, okay. Things things I enjoy doing to relax. I've not been. I've apart from going out and doing essential things. Number one, shopping, obviously. Number two, I've been helping the missus out. Although I wouldn't say it's much in the way of help, probably just just a turning up. But I've been helping her down at the yard occasionally. Um, so yeah, things I enjoy doing to relax. Writing, obviously, and I write the novel I'm writing at the moment. I think I only started it about 3 months ago, and I'm writing it by hand. I've been a bit mental and bought. Am I allowed to say mental? Yes, I am. I've got a mental health problem, so I am mental. Um, I've I've been a bit mental, and I've bought a few pens. You know, not cheap pens, not big pens, but like Parker pens. I mean, well, they are cheap, I mean, but I spent like 20, 25 quid on a pen. 38 quid. Don't tell a missus. Um, so yeah, I'm enjoying writing again. The one I'm writing at the moment is a science fiction book, and in a way, it's kind of an escapism science fiction. Although I'm finding that even 200 years in the future, my characters are pretty much living the lives that they would live. now. So, yeah, gaming. Right, gaming. I've just been out and bought a brand new computer. It's like top notch. It's the first time I've bought a computer for a long, long time. And the the computer that I had before, excuse me, I've still got it's actually just behind me. That was a bit like Trigger's broom. I've had it for like 10 years, but every single part in it's been replaced, from like the case to the motherboard to the processor to the memory. There's nothing in it that was in it when I actually first bought it. But this one down here is like top notch. I don't like the fact that it's got LEDs on it. I think they're a bit gay, but there you go. Oh, I'm allowed to say that. Come on, if you can't kind of laugh and joke at yourself, then that's not bullying, is it really? So gaming, as well as that, I won't be able to dig it up in here because this room is a shithole. I'm still waiting to move. I've got a VR headset and everything now, so now I can almost vomit when I'm flying around in an aeroplane. Yeah, it's a whole new different thing. People won't understand that 51-year-old guy, almost 52, playing games on a computer. But I got my first computer when I was 12, and yeah, 12, 13. So yeah, I've been into computers almost forever. I like going out for a drive in the car. Got a nice car. Somebody showing off. That's me saying that being bipolar, you tend to waste money on things you don't actually need. And in my case, it's been a new computer, a VR headset, and a new car. And I love going out for a ride in it. Okay, now the last thing that I enjoy doing to relax, although I can't. Can you actually do this for a length period? I've put being smug when it comes to proving arseholes wrong about me not being able to quit alcohol. And that actually does make me feel very smug. The thing is, people just don't know me or understand me. When I make up my mind about something, I stick to it. I stick to it fucking rigidly. I I've gone sober for October so many times that I knew back then if I could do it for a month, I could do it forever. The worst thing was getting through the shakes at the start for about 3 or 4 days. Once I got through that, I was like absolutely fine. And you know what? People have this low opinion of others, and they've absolutely got no right to judge people like that. I mean, I know that my mates were all thinking that I would fail, but they basically can see that I've got through it, and I'm not judging anybody else for drinking alcohol. I would judge somebody if they basically, as some people have done, if they're drinkers of alcohol and they're basically said in quite vicious ways, "Well, never going to quit alcohol, are you?" Because it just gives you a little bit more determination. Not that I'm doing this just to prove anybody wrong. I'm doing it for my own health. So yeah, I thought I'd just have this video, which has gone to 40 minutes, a bit too long. Oh, look, you can see my dirty mouse pad. That is quite dirty. I just thought I'd bring in the new year with you. I know it's a few days late, and just say, you know what, whether you drink alcohol or not, just enjoy life. If you're thinking about trying to force somebody to do something that you want them to do, just remember it's their life, not yours. And if you rather than wanting somebody to fail, just be there to help them pick the pieces up if they do fail. That's. But in any case, you know what? If you don't like that, go fuck yourself. And thank you for watching. I am gonna now do a bit of writing, but you can't watch me do that. That's, I mean it. You can't. So I will say thank you, goodbye, and take care of yourselves.